It's fall here in East Tennessee, and fall is one of our favorite times of year and one of our favorite times to plant daylilies. And I'm going to tell you some reasons why it's a great time to plant, some things to consider when you plant in the fall, and then one thing you really want to avoid when you're planting in the fall. As you probably know, daylilies are a very easy plant to grow, and you can plant them most any time of the year, except of course in the winter in areas that get a cold winter. You folks down in the south who don't have a cold winter can probably plant straight on through. But fall is a great time to plant for a few different reasons. Obviously it's cooled down some, which is great on both you and the plant. Daylilies don't mind the summer heat, but any newly planted plant is going to prefer cooler temperatures versus hot blazing sun. Although daylilies will certainly take the summer heat when planted in the summer. So that's one of the benefits. One of the other benefits is that if you plant them in the fall, you don't have to worry about a late freeze coming along and nipping them right after you plant them. And then probably the best benefit of planting in the fall is that they're going to be good and established for the next bloom season. Right? So as soon as you plant this and gets it growing, it's going to grow all over the winter, and then in the spring it's just come up with nice fresh green foliage, be established, ready to go, and you're going to have a great looking established daylily plant that's going to bloom well for you that summer. So there are some things to consider when planting daylilies in the fall. And the first one and the most important is that you're going to want to plant at least 2 to 3 weeks before your first frost date. All right, so if you don't know what your frost date is, it's easy enough to Google, what's my frost date? And we'll put a link below to a couple different websites that you can check that out. All you have to do is enter your zip code. It'll tell you what your frost date is. Here, for instance, in East Tennessee, it's around October the 19th. I looked it up this morning. So we're going to want to stop planting here around the first part of October or so. You would think of this in the summer when it was hot, but when it's cool, you may not think of it, but it's important even in the fall to keep your daylilies watered well, after you plant. By watering well, what I mean is you want to give them about 1 inch of water a week. 2 or 3 good soakings should be good for that. Daylilies planted in the fall would benefit from being mulched. Mulch is great for several different reasons. It's good for winter protection, which is what I mentioned for fall planting. It's also good to keep weeds down and help keep moisture in. And then you're also going to want to consider planting a larger plant in the fall. Now this is a plant similar to the size that we send, everything we send will have at least 3 fans, and so a fan is the smallest daylily plant you could divide this down to, and so everything we sell is going to have at least 3. This one's got 6 on it. And so if you plant something like this, it's just going to be more hardy, vigorous, more able to withstand if you have cold winter temperatures versus if you planted just a single fan like this. It's just not going to have the mass, to withstand something like that. So those are some other things to consider when you're planting in the fall. All right, and the thing you want to avoid doing in fall planting is planting too late. I know sometimes in our area in particular, October is a beautiful month, and so you're just tempted to plant and plant and plant and plant. But here's the problems you can have. They can die, for one. You can get just too much cold in the winter. They're not established. They just die in the ground. In our area, the other problem we have is what we call freeze-thaw, where just like it sounds, it will get freezing temperatures and then it will thaw and then repeat, and your daylilies will get heaved up out of the ground because they didn't have enough time to get the roots established. So like I mentioned before, 2 to 3 weeks at least before you plant, and if you plant any later than that, be sure to give them a good coating of mulch over top to give them that extra protection, help hold them in the ground. The last thing I wanted to mention was I'm talking pretty much in this video about planting in the ground. Now you can plant daylilies in pots. They will do okay in pots as long as you keep them well watered. And we've got a video about daylilies in pots if you want to check that out. But one of the big challenges in daylilies in pots is keeping them protected in the winter, because daylilies outside in pots, the cold gets all the way around the pots, so it freezes the roots. You can definitely lose daylilies in pots. As opposed to in the ground, they're really tough and hardy for the most part, but in pots you really have to protect them. So keep that in mind if you're planting these in pots. Related to daylilies in pots, we are going to be doing another video soon about how to protect your daylilies in pots, so keep your eye open for that. I hope you enjoyed our video. We have a lot of videos about all things daylily on our YouTube channel, so be sure and check those out. Daylilies are an easy plant to grow. We love them. We've grown them for 30, 40 years now. It's a hobby grown out of control. So if you have any questions about daylilies, put them in the comments below or just visit our website for contact information. We'd love to talk daylilies with you.